Welcome back to the grind. Champion riders have now made their way into the game, and this video we are going to break down what they are, how they work, and how you can get what you're looking for out of these riders. Basically, a champion rider is a rider that has existed in the game for a long time, but as the game has evolved, these riders have become obsolete because their bonuses and stats are just nothing compared to the newer riders. So they're bringing them back with 10 extra levels so that you can get more skill points to put into new nodes that give new skills that they have put onto these skill trees for these riders. And we'll talk about all the details now that we have more information about them. So they said they've mentioned these in the past. They're going to take a look at the key features again in this message. So each branch focuses on the riders from the past and contains 6 season keys and 2 ascension tokens. Each of the 3 riders will now have a max level of 60 instead of 50. So this will give more skill nodes, allowing them to be about equal or close to it of the other more recent riders that have kind of taken over them. Each rider shard node gives you a choice to obtain one of the 3 rider shards or chests. So how you complete the branch will depend on whether or not you have old riders already. So basically, one of these branches will give you enough shards to get one rider to max level 60. If you already have all 3 riders at level 50, then it'll take only 200 shards. This is what they mentioned further down. 200 shards to get the rider from level 50 to 60, and there's 600 rider shards total, which means if you have all 3 at level 50, you can get all 3 to level 60 by completing this one branch. But if you don't have them all at level 50, you can't get all of them to max level. And if you get to a point where you want to finish off the branch in order to get the last key, and you don't want any more shards, you can simply grab the chests instead. So new players can complete the entire branch to get one rider to level 60, as we mentioned. Veteran players, if you already have them at 50, you can get them to level 60 in the branch. And in the unusual case, you already have the riders, but not enough shards to get them to level 50. Just obtain as many shards as you need to get the level up of that rider that you want. So say you have the rider at level 40, you're going to need, I don't know what it's going to be, but maybe 250 or 300 shards. That means there's not enough shards left over to get the other 2 riders up. But if you have the second rider at level 50, there would be enough shards, and then the rest of the shards would be extra and not really go towards maxing a rider. So you might as well grab the chests. Now, as this says, you want to pay very close attention to how many shards you need, because they're saying here it takes 400 shards to take a rider from level 0 to 50, and then 200 to go from 50 to 60. So you're going to have to count that up, and you may not need all 600 shards to level the rider up all the way, so be careful what you're picking and choose the chests if you need to. Now, they're going to show us the additional nodes on these riders now. So basically, in addition to what Grog already had, you can now get some increased stats. But this is kind of hard to see the max stats based on these trees, because it doesn't tell us if you can get all of these or if you have to pick and choose. And as we're going to see, for example, Kayla, there's a lot of different nodes, and unlikely will you be able to get all of them, but who knows? And so we'll have to take a look somewhere else to really see what the max stats are and how it compares. And of course, that's going to be War Dragons Neon. So over here on War Dragons Neon website, you go to the Riders tab, and you can select which type of dragon you want to show the stats for, because each rider has different nodes that are specific to different dragons. So if we want to look at Grog, for example, we scroll down and we look at Grog, and it says we have 9.5 attack, 30% HP, and 10% rage. Now that's some pretty good HP and rage. Now, most of the time, the hunters you're going to want attack, so he might not be great for hunters, but for warriors or sorcerers, that high HP is actually pretty good. And compared to some of the other ones here that you're seeing, the HP is very high, and the rage is also on par with what you would expect. Now, if we take a look at, if we can find the other one here, Tor, 25% attack, 15% HP, and 7% rage. That's actually pretty solid. And when you look at Suresh, for example, he has a matching attack, but less HP and a tiny bit more rage. Sophia actually has 23% attack. So Sophia is actually viewed as a really good hunter rider, and she is, because she has a +1 ammo. but Tor has more attack power, has more HP, and is very close on the rage generation. So these are like pretty close to on par with some of the top tier riders, especially for hunters. Now, if we go over and look at the warrior riders, then let's see how those stats even out. So Grog, the stats are the same, and comparing to the other ones, Grog has very high HP. If you look at Hugo, who was one of the top HP riders, he actually has the same, but Grog has more attack than Hugo does. And attack is still very important for sorcerers and warriors. And then the rage generation is the same. So honestly, Grog I would take over Hugo, of course. And let's go down and look at how Tor stacks up on the warriors. And if we find him here, he has 25% attack, 15% HP, and 7% rage generation. So if you have a warrior that you want to build for attack specifically, it looks like Tor might be one of the top picks for that. So these riders now have kind of come up to a better situation compared to the newer top tier riders. So this is great if you already have them and you just want to top them up to make them at least more usable in the current meta of the game. And I recommend coming to this site to compare the riders that you have and which ones you want for your dragons. So if you have these riders already at level 50 and you want to top them up and get the most from them, then this is a great way to do that. You also might just want one of these riders brand new, and you can do that. You can pick one of them if you have none of them, and you can get it all the way to level 60 and get the stats that we're seeing on this website, which, as we mentioned, are pretty comparable to some of the other top riders. So I really think that this new system of champion riders is a good introduction to the game, because not only does it make use of what you already have in the game rather than having to continue to recycle and grab new riders every single season or two, but you can build on ones that you already got from before. And if you already have all of them, you can suddenly have 3 top tier riders again from one branch this season. It gives more options every season that you can pick from, rather than just, you have this one rider that you get and it's a hunter rider this time or whatever it may be. There's more variety, more options for you, and you can make use of what you already had if you in fact had them from before. It also hopefully will allow the War Dragons team to spend less time creating new riders that end up not being used and invest more time into creating new and better content for the game. So let me know if you are going to go for this branch, which rider you want, if you're going to get more than one of them because maybe you already had them in the past. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Thank you so much for watching. Good luck, and I hope to see you in the next video.